Again guys, welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video. Thank you for tuning in, and this is part of my Big Al's Big Weapon series. As you can see, I like my weapons big. Well, this is one of my Dane Axes. Well, it's not my only Dane Axe, but it's one of my axes. I have a few. I have a pair of Franciscas, I have this, and I have a couple of tool axes as well. But so I'm looking to add to the collection very, very soon, because Christmas is coming, and my girlfriend said she's going to get me a Damascus steel axe, which will be something very special that I'll show on here as and when, if I'm lucky enough to get it. But there will be plenty more axes on this channel as we go along. But this video is just proof of concept. If you've seen any of my other videos here on part of the Weapon Master series or Big Al's Big Weapon series, you'll know that I've done a couple of videos so far on how to sharpen your weapon. What I've learnt, originally I thought you could just do it with a whetstone. You can to some degree, but that's already weapons that have already been sharpened, and maintenance of sharpening. But ideally, if you're sharpening a weapon and if you want to keep what I would describe as a razor's edge, which is a very, very sharp blade on high carbon steel, then there is a whole multitude of different processes. See that video, guys, if you want, how to keep a razor's edge. It goes into a detail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into practice with the files, the sandpaper, the emery paper, the whetstones with the baby oil and everything, and I'm going to be making this axe razor sharp. So I've got some piece of paper here just to show you what the axe sharpness is at already. It's actually not too bad, to be fair, because I bought this axe originally completely blunt. Literally, it was dull as anything. I've created a bit of an edge on it already with about roughly half an hour's work. Pretty much what you've just seen me film already. It will cut through the paper a little bit, because this is generally how you test sharpness. The sharper the weapon, you know, if a weapon's razor sharp, it will just cut through paper with no difficulty whatsoever. Whereas you'll notice with this, I'm pulling against it and it's not cutting. Okay, I'm trying to get the blade. It's not cutting, but it cuts when it kind of tears the paper. This is not cutting it, it's just tearing it. It's just the weight of the weapon, the weight of drawing it along will cut it, but it takes a reasonable amount of tugging force and manoeuvring it around. What you really want to try and get it to is where the razor edge of the blade can literally just go straight away with no real effort whatsoever, just a simple draw cut. I'm going to pause the video here, guys. I'm going to do the process of sharpening, which, just a quick reminder, is filing. Well, first of all, a little bit of rust cleaning and just rust prevention work, filing, what else, emery paper, which I have here, and then finally I'll be working with my whetstone, which is I use a cigar shaped whetstone, okay, which is particularly good for axes. That even wouldn't be suitable necessarily for swords. You could use it on sword, but it wouldn't be the best. A standard rectangular shaped whetstone would be the best for that oil stone, which I actually have over there, but I'm going to be using my cigar stone for this. So I'm going to pause the video now, guys. You'll see me literally in a matter of seconds. For me, it'll probably be an hour or two to get this up to proper good sharpness. If you like this, what I'm going to do is I do have a Conan the Barbarian blade, his Atlantean sword, which I've done a video on, which is actually quite a popular video. That again is provided blunt by Windus Forge, and what I will do is I will sharpen that if this video does okay, because why not? It'd be nice to have a razor edge sword that weighs, what was it, I think it was 8 pounds. It is a meaty blade. Anyway, guys, I've talked enough. Time to get to some work, and hopefully I'll have a decent result for you guys. And if it doesn't work, I'll film it anyway, just to show that, or maybe power tools are the way to go, and doing it by hand like this is not easy. It takes a lot more practice than perhaps what I've got and the skill that I've got at the moment. But here we go. I'm a beginner at this, so if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it. See you in a minute. during that filing, just cut my leg. During that filing process, well, during the sharpening process, it was the first time that I've really got stuck into it and done it for, you know, a fairly extensive period of time, rather than just sort of displaying the technique or learning the technique. What I found was the primary amount of the work that was done regards creating the edge was by the filing. It's actually the filing that does pretty much 95%, 97% of the work. So definitely make sure you get a really good file and work on your cardiovascular, because it is tiring. I mean, it's really hot in here today because we've got the heating on, but I'm sweating. I'm really sweating, and my forearms are proper pumped. Viking style. Woo! That's a Viking workout, sharpening your blade. But basically, what I found was it was the filing that did primarily most of the work. I found really by filing it, however, I could feel the blade warming up, which is never good for the tempering of the blade, because once you start reheating a blade that's already been forged and tempered, you can mess the tempering up if you heat it up too much. So what I did was I started adding my mineral oil, which is a paraffin oil, in this case non-scented baby oil, to the file, just to reduce the friction just to some degree, and stop the heat building up quite as much. It was particularly effective at that, and what I also noticed is it actually caught a lot of the steel that I was filing off, because prior to that you wouldn't obviously been able to see it on the camera if I managed to incorporate my filing session. But when I was doing it, there was a fine dust. So what I would recommend, guys, is when you come to do this yourself, is definitely have some kind of protective mask. That's why I've not done it for as long as perhaps I was originally planning. I would have liked to do at least another half an hour to an hour's worth of filing on here to get it like super sharp. But I've done what I feel is the minimum, because I'm drawing my fingers along this, and it's sharp. I can feel it sort of cutting into the skin. I've not tested it yet. This is definitely for you guys, and hopefully the dog doesn't eat the paper first. But this is a test to see if it's got at least sharper. It's still not a razor, maybe quite a razor's edge, but it's getting damn close to it. The problem is with Dane axes, or long axes of any form really, it's bloody hard to hold it. I'm not really quite sure how to hold this and do this properly, because I really want to use my do it two-handed. There we go. If we do it like that and draw the paper along it two-handed. Okay, so it's a bit like a an arm bar that I'm putting on the axe here. And what we'll see is, well, we have to sort of tore it there, but oh yeah. So that drawing motion, I am not having to tear the paper. Well, it is cutting into it proper sharp. You can see the sharpness has increased considerably. I'm putting very little, well, no effort at all. All I'm doing is doing just a draw cut on it. So obviously I'm not pushing down and drawing across, which is exactly what you do with a sword. So the edge on that has increased considerably, which you can just feel with your fingers anyway, but obviously it's nice to actually prove it on the paper. Same type of paper as before. It's the paper that I used before, just in case you think I've swapped the paper around. Yeah, look. Oh, careful baby, careful. It's a problem when you got your dog around, you don't want them to get hurt. So I'll just let him down there. Make sure it doesn't eat the emery paper. Okay, so basically, as you can see, guys, just with a, I don't know exactly how long I did, but roughly 15-20 minutes worth of work, I've managed to turn what is a sharp-ish blade, but it's still what I would describe as a blunt blade, with a little bit of an edge, the startings of an edge. You've gone from the startings of an edge or a blunt blade to actually just on the point of razor sharp. It's not quite, but actually, you know what? It is. This is razor sharp. Now, I was just about to say, I wonder if I could shave a bit, but I love my beard too much. I ain't cutting off my beard for no man. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed just at least seeing that bit of proof. I want to do it with my Conan the Barbarian Atlantean blade as well, which is a solid piece of hardened steel, but that is going to take a behemoth amount of time. That's a big blade and it's going to take a lot of work, so it's going to take a lot of incentive really for me or a lot of time at least, for me to want to do it. But yeah, so guys, overall, as I say, that was quite successful, and as I say, for me, the primary tool to use was the file. I found the emery paper, to be honest, almost useless. I didn't really get anything out of it. It just helped get rid of some of the sort of loose filings, that was all. And it smoothed it down on the side just a little bit so that the blade's not jagged, but it didn't add really to the edge. I got a little bit out of that, and I would have liked to have done a bit more with that than I did, but I just wanted to come to a conclusion. I knew I wasn't adding to the edge considerably, but the whetstone is still worthwhile doing. So if any part of the sharpening process is something that you want to skip, then I would say skip the emery paper. That is not needed, but the filing 100%, and then of course the whetstone at the end, just to kind of polish the blade more than anything, smooth it out. Because before I used the emery paper, you'd see a lot better where the filing work was, and you still can. You can see where I've created the edge, but it's a lot smoother. What I will say, guys, is I was going in originally when I was talking about sharpening it, I was saying that 10 degrees is enough to get the blade sharp, but where it wouldn't really do that much damage without a big swing behind it. Whereas 30 degrees is what creates a really sharp edge. Well, I would agree with that. 30 degrees is roughly what I was going at, because when I first started, which is the bit which I didn't film, or when I just first got started into it, I was going sort of about 15 degrees, 20 degrees for my angle of the edge, and it really wasn't adding that much edge. It was taking a long time to do anything. As soon as I just increased the angle, I was immediately getting sharpness. When I was bringing my finger down, I was like, wow, that is good. That is good. So one last test, hopefully this just to show you guys. Oh yeah, lovely. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate your support. See you soon.